from Cooking with Plants, and today I'm making chocolate cupcakes. These are really easy to make, they're 100% vegan and they're super delicious. So let's get started. For this recipe, get yourself a large mixing bowl and also preheat your oven to about 200 degrees Celsius or approximately 400 degrees Fahrenheit. First of all, I'm adding in 1 cup of whole wheat flour, 1 cup of instant oats, half a cup of cacao powder, I'm using raw organic, 1/3 cup of raw sugar or sweetener of your choice. You could also use some maple syrup if you like, and 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder and half a teaspoon of baking soda. So that's all the dry ingredients, and just give those a good mix through so they're really well incorporated before adding all the wet ingredients. Now that this is all really well mixed together, I'm going to add in some of the wet ingredients. So I've got a 250 ml cup of plant-based milk. I'm using organic soy milk, but you can use any plant-based milk that you like. Also going in is 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, half a cup of mashed banana. This is a really ripe banana, and half a cup is probably equivalent to about 2 small bananas. And lastly, I'm also adding in some chopped up prunes. These are seeded prunes, and I've got about 1/3 of a cup's worth there, or about 90 grams worth. And then just give this all a mix through and try not to over mix it so you don't end up with dense cupcakes. So now that this is all really well mixed together and nicely incorporated and smelling chocolatey and delicious, just set your bowl aside and get yourself a muffin tray. So this is a large muffin tray. It'll make 12 large muffins. And what I've done is bought some cafe liners. So you can use regular muffin liners if you prefer, or even some silicone liners if you like using those. But these do give it a really nice look at the end when you're serving, and are great with Easter coming up or any special celebration where you want a really lovely looking cupcake. Then these are fantastic. Now, just to make this easy to spoon in, I'm just going to use an ice cream scoop, but you can use anything that you like, just a spoon is fine. And then just spread this evenly between all the different cups. Once your batter is evenly spread, these are ready to go in the oven for about 20 to 30 minutes. While your cupcakes are in the oven, it's time to do the frosting. So for this, I'm using a large blender. And what I've done is steamed 600 grams of sweet potato, which was an extra large sweet potato. So just peeled it and steamed it, and then I just let it cool down for a little bit. To this, I'm also adding 2 small to medium sized bananas. And you don't want super soft bananas for this, just because it is going to be a frosting and you want that frosting to hold well on top of your muffins or your delicious cupcakes. Okay. To this, I'm also adding 1/4 cup of peanut butter. So this is quite a thick peanut butter. I've drained the oil off this. It was homemade, so it's not as greasy and runny as some of the store-bought ones. And I'm also adding in 1/4 or 1/4 cup of cacao powder. I'm using raw organic. And also 1/4 or 1/4 cup of sugar or the sweetener of your choice. And 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. So the trick with this is to use as little water as possible, or little plant-based milk, whatever you would add to this to help it along, because you do want it to stay thick and rich so you can coat the top of your cupcakes with this. So just start it off with the sweet potato at the bottom, because it does have that moisture in it, and see how your blender handles that. Okay, and then just give it a push down, and if you do need to add some liquid, just do that in very, very small amounts as you go. So I'm just going to add a little bit of plant milk to mine just to help it along. So probably a couple of tablespoons worth there. So once your mixture is nice and thick and rich and has a nice thick frosting consistency, just place that into a piping bag or into a Ziploc bag and pop that in the fridge while you wait for your cupcakes to cook and also for them to cool down afterwards. Okay, so these have been in the oven for about 25 minutes and they've risen nicely. They smell divine, nice chocolate aromas in the air. So I'm just going to leave these for a good few hours to cool down completely before I put my frosting on. For the last stage of these cupcakes, and in keeping with the theme of Easter, which is coming up, I've designed a template for some little decorative Easter egg shapes that are going to be made out of chocolate. I'm using Lindt Excellent 70% cocoa, and I've melted that down, so you can either melt that in the microwave on a very low heat for a minute or two, or in a double broiler over some water, and just make sure that it melts very slowly. Even if it's a really hot day, you could even sit it in the sun for a few hours and just make sure it's melted but still quite thick and gooey. So what I've done, as I mentioned, I've designed a template which you can download off my website at CookingWithPlants.com, along with the recipe for these cupcakes as well, and print it out, put it onto a board and then sticky tape it on. Get yourself some clear non-stick parchment paper and tape that over the top so you can see your Easter egg shapes through there. Then get yourself a small Ziploc bag and pour the chocolate mixture into there. So I'm not going to use the whole amount, you won't need too much. I'll just pour a little bit into one of these corners. And then just in that corner where you've placed the chocolate, just push everything into that corner. And if there's any extras on your fingers, feel free to lick it off. So once you have all that in one little corner, just zip that bag up. Just makes it easier and stops it from going everywhere. Okay. And then just get a pair of scissors and very carefully cut the tiniest little edge off the end here. And just do a little practice test on the end. That's perfect. And then just trace around your eggs. And then do all of your eggs and then place this in the fridge or the freezer just till they're cool and you can peel them off gently. Okay, so once everything's cooled down, you're ready to assemble, and you can either have these cupcakes as is or decorate them any way you like. So what I'm going to do is just take some of this frosting, and I've just cut a small hole into the corner of the Ziploc bag. So probably about a thumb-sized hole, just so I can do a round swirl on there. And then I've just got some flaked coconut that I'm going to be putting on top. Looks delicious. And also some cacao nibs, just sprinkle some of those on. And you could leave it like that if you wanted to, or if you have gone to the effort and made your Easter egg chocolate, then you can just lie that on top, and as it melts it will drape over the top of this cupcake, and that will be super delicious. So I'm not going to assemble them all today because I'm waiting for some guests to arrive tomorrow, and I'll assemble them all before they arrive, but I am going to have a little taste test one, and this will be just for me. So, oh, that is looking gooey and delicious. I just broke my egg. May as well bite into it. Yum. Such a quick and easy and great looking little chocolate cupcake that you can make for Easter or enjoy any time that you like. Simple, tasty, delicious. Give it a try and let me know what you think. I look forward to your feedback, and remember, I put out 2 new recipes each and every week, so if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, please do, and I'll look forward to seeing you for the next recipe. Bye for now. Mm-mm. Mm. Mm-mm.